For decades, the world of business data was basically split right down the middle. You had one system to run your company and a totally separate one to analyze it. But what if? What if you could do both at the exact same time in real time? Well, that was the revolutionary idea behind SAP HANA, a database that didn't just bend the rules, it completely rewrote them. So to really get what makes it so special, we've got to go back to the problem it was built to solve. So, why was HANA such a huge deal? Well, to get it, you first need to understand the problem it solved. For the longest time, businesses had to operate in two completely different data worlds. And this split, it created this constant, frustrating delay between something happening and actually understanding what it meant.
All right, so this divide came down to this. On one side, you've got OLTP, which stands for Online Transaction Processing. Think of these as the engine room of the business, processing sales, managing inventory, all that live day-to-day stuff. Then, on the other side, you have OLAP, or Online Analytical Processing. These are the brains of the operation, data warehouses built to dig through history, spot trends, and help you make those big strategic decisions. Two critical jobs, but they were stuck in two separate, non-communicating worlds.
But what if you didn't have to live with that delay? What if you could analyze your business as it was happening right now, not based on what happened yesterday? This was the revolutionary idea, to build one single engine powerful enough to unify these two divided worlds of data.
And that idea, it actually became a reality in 2010. SAP teamed up with Intel, and they set out to build a database from the ground up with this one single audacious vision: unify transactions and analytics. Now, this just wasn't possible before, but technology had finally caught up. The huge jumps in RAM density and the raw power of multi-core CPUs, it all came together to create the perfect storm for this project.
And the name pretty much says it all: high-performance analytic appliance. At its heart, it's a hybrid database. But what does that actually mean? It means it brilliantly combines two different technologies to do something that people thought was impossible: power both the daily grind and the big-picture insights of a business all at once.
So how did they actually pull it off? What's the secret sauce here? Well, it really boils down to a clever combination of two core breakthroughs, one for incredible speed and another for a totally different way of structuring data. Okay, so the first piece to the puzzle is speed, and that comes from being an in-memory database. Instead of storing data on slower, spinning disk drives, HANA keeps everything right in the computer's main memory, the RAM. The best analogy is this: it's the difference between having all your papers right there on your desk versus having to get up, walk over to a filing cabinet, and search for a folder. The speed gain is just immense.
But speed is only half the story, right? The other piece is the structure. HANA uses something called columnar storage. Now, pretty much every traditional database stores data in rows. But for analytics, that's really inefficient. Imagine you have a massive spreadsheet with 1,000,000 rows, and you only want the average of one single column. A row-based system has to slog through every single cell. But a columnar system, it just grabs that one column. It's surgically precise and ridiculously fast for analysis. So when you put all that together, you get this incredibly powerful architecture. You've got the in-memory speed for everything. You have the columnar structure that's perfectly tuned for analytics, and crucially, it's also ACID compliant, which is a fancy way of saying every transaction is rock solid and reliable, which is absolutely essential for running a business. Plus, it's multi-model, which means it's flexible enough to handle not just old-school tables, but modern data like graphs and documents too. With this unique architecture in place, HANA was finally ready to do what no database had ever done before: bring those two separate worlds of business data together and kill that frustrating, expensive delay between something happening and a business being able to learn from it.
I mean, just to really appreciate the change, you have to remember the old way. First, your transactional system would collect data all day long. Then, overnight, this complex, slow process called ETL, extract, transform, and load, would have to run to copy and reformat all that data into the separate analytical system. And the result? You are always analyzing yesterday's news.
HANA changed the rules. It made that entire overnight process obsolete. And this right here is the big aha moment. By merging both workloads into a single engine, there's no more waiting, no more copying, and no more complex ETL process needed. You can analyze your data the very second it's born. It's a true fusion of real-time operation and real-time analysis. Okay, so that's the tech behind the magic. But what does this actually mean for a business? This is where the theory hits the road, and all this incredible speed translates directly into smarter, faster decisions.
And here's a really key insight. HANA isn't just a database, it's a complete platform. Because it can handle both transactions and analytics so incredibly well, you can build and run your most important business applications like SAP's S/4HANA directly on top of it. It becomes a single foundation for running, analyzing, and building your entire company.
And the impact is just massive. Imagine running your company's entire ERP system in real time, or doing financial forecasts that instantly reflects the very last transaction. You can optimize your supply chain on the fly based on live events and run machine learning models on the absolute freshest data possible, not data from yesterday.
So where does HANA fit in today's crowded market? Well, while competitors like Oracle Exadata are absolute powerhouses for transactions, and platforms like Snowflake are brilliant for cloud analytics, they still pretty much operate in one world or the other. HANA's unique advantage remains its core mission to unify both. And for any business that's deep in the SAP ecosystem, that native, all-in-one integration is just unmatched.
So if you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this. In a world full of specialized databases, HANA's core idea, that fusion of OLTP and OLAPE into a single, real-time engine, is still a truly unique and powerful approach.
And this really leaves us with a final, big question. As every single industry demands more instant insights and immediate answers, is this hybrid model that HANA pioneered the true future for all data? The answer isn't clear yet, but one thing is for sure. By breaking the old rules, SAP HANA completely changed the game.